You know, it's so nice on the replay. Is that your phone? That must mean we're live. It's nice on the replay because I can hear the music playing in my head as I'm recording it. You need to come this way. So I had the chairs perfect. Yeah, they were perfect. It's the screen is this is a little bit.
Okay.
What's up, Steve? Well, hi everyone, and how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to episode 56. Make sure your volume is all the way up.
Yep.
Welcome to episode 56 of Car Audio Talk with me and him.
Me and him. Yeah.
Him and me. Hi from Dallas.
What's up, Cody?
So today's been a fun day. It's a Monday, and we've had all the fun Monday things that I can handle.
How you doing, Jason? Welcome to the show.
Oh, hey, Jason. Rose House.
Yeah.
So as we've talked about several times today, we have a special guest.
Yes.
And our special guest comes from AMP Global. I'm going to get this right because I've been corrected on it way too many times. AMP Global is a big partner of ours. We do a ton of their products. We support them as much as we can. And today we have a Mr. Jess Smith on.
Yes.
We're going to bring him out in a minute or two. But before we do that, how was your weekend?
That was good. That was good. Yeah.
What'd you do? Family stuff?
Dinner with the family. Yeah, supposed to work in my father-in-law truck, but nothing happened. So
That's a good thing,
yeah,
though.
that was good.
Yeah,
Just
I went to
dinner.
SeaWorld.
But we're good.
I got to pull into SeaWorld, and I wasn't disappointed. Protesters out front said, you know, "Free Willy! Free Willy! Free Willy!" And I'm like, "What's up, guys? I'm going in. They got my money." Yeah, and of course Haley's ankle was still banged up.
How is it?
You know, I tell you what, she's a trooper, man. She played Saturday. I found a cool YouTube video, or she found a cool YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I used a whole roll of tape on her ankle.
That's
She played.
I saw a picture that Sue posted. Oh my God, it's horrible, man. Like,
oh yeah. But she's got. This is her last game is Tuesday of the season, and that's it for her career as far as soccer goes. They have some tournaments, but so she's like, yeah, I'm playing. What, are you kidding me? It's not that I'm not gonna play. I mean, I'm pretty sure she'd be out there in a cast.
Games, man. Yeah.
She'd be like spray painted, flesh colored. I'm playing, man.
Like
I'm
that.
playing. But yeah,
Just pass me the ball. Pass me the ball.
Pass me the ball.
Yeah.
All right, what's up from Phoenix? Hey, Chris. Hey, Jeremy. What's going on, Jeremy? We got a Jeremy Dorn in the house.
Ooh.
Well, since we have Jeremy Dorn is an amp guy, let's bring out our amp guy.
Yep.
A little Trump action going on, and I mean that in the sense of not the president, but the actual word. His name. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. Come on out here, Jeff.
Yep.
Yay. And I apparently didn't get the memo on the whole shirt thing.
I brought you one just in case.
I know, but I'm still not. Yeah. I didn't want to look like we were just like.
Hey, it's a uniform, man.
Yeah, whatever.
So?
I'm gonna wear. All right. Well, interesting enough, I am wearing an audio control shirt, which you've had some help with in the past.
Good stuff. Audio control, good guys.
All right, we'll talk about them in a little bit. So let me ask you. We've been talking about you all day and touting you. You've been a installer of the year.
Yep, 2008, 2009.
And you got that for something that is almost unheard of now. You didn't win for like building a car, like custom everything. Like you won for actually being intelligent about it and actually integration. Not that those guys, don't get me wrong, I don't mean it like that. I mean like that we don't see anymore. Now it's like, did you see the car?
So that was like a different technique? Or?
So in the time frame that, let's step back a bit.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I won in 2008, 2009 for installer of the year, but during that time period, integration was becoming a really big thing. So you got to look at now, in 2018, how much talk there always is about integration in the cars because cars are getting harder. Cars were harder for us then.
Oh yeah.
You were dealing with Mercedes and BMWs and all these other cars that had active systems already back in those days.
Yeah, and summing was just a what do you mean summing?
Speaking of audio control,
and that's where good segue. I was going there.
Speaking of audio control, so 2003, I was working for a shop in Atlanta called Cartoons of Atlanta, and we were the first shop to see a brand new Range Rover. No, I'm sorry, it was 2002. because the vehicle was a brand new 2003.
Okay.
It was a 2003 Range Rover HSE and was owned by a football player. And he brought it in, and we were tearing it all apart to look at how to integrate a system because we did all the ballers, you know, all the big guys in Atlanta. And we're looking at this audio signal, trying to figure it out because there was no way we were going to replace the radio in the dash of this truck at all, right?
No.
So we're looking at the amplifier, and I've got my RTA out, and being the audio geek that I am, I'm testing all the circuit, you know, all the outputs from the amplifiers, looking at the signals on the RTA, and I'm like, there's no way we're going to do this. Like, there's no way this is ever going to happen.
And of course your boss is going,
yeah, you have a high-pass signal, you got a band-pass mid-range signal, you got a mid-bass, you got, you know, two-way in the rear door, then you have subwoofers and rear surrounds.
yeah, it was
center.
ridiculous.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this, and DEI has that little line output converter, the little clear plastic one, that stereo.
Oh yeah, the real cheap thing.
Yeah, really cheap thing. So, and I've used those before to do other little weird things. So I'm like, well, how many of these will it take to sum all these back together? So literally, I probably wound up with maybe 10 of them in this Range Rover to get the signal the way I wanted to. And I'm adjusting the gains left and right to look at the RTA and get it all right. And it just so happens that Chris Kane from Audio Control, his brother lives in Atlanta and everything else, and he was visiting us because we were an audio control dealer. And he was in the Bay, and we were talking and everything, and he was like, what are you doing? And I showed him what was going on, and it was kind of like, oh, that's different, weird, you know.
Yeah, that's one of those aha moments.
Yeah, it was like, this is the way cars are coming these days, you know. So anyway, a few months later down the road, here comes the LC6, you know, and I have a signed one.
Nice.
You know, from the
Nice.
LC6. So it's not like something I invented. I don't want to take that credit at all.
But you
they were the
sparked
first
flame.
to see that this was an issue coming in our industry.
Yeah.
The whole active systems and a reason to go summing.
Now, do you feel that you were part of that? That they started doing that?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, I was one of the reasons. I mean, I'm sure there are many other shops and installers that they visit and they see the problems that they're going through. That's just like any company that's you know, worth their salt. Is they see what installers are going through and they make products like dash kits and Radio Pro and, you know, all the things alarm companies make, you know, from DI. You know, they look at all the different needs that are out there. You know, when JL came out with stealth boxes, you know, there was a need for a base, you know, and they wanted to put it in certain places. You know, so.
The kitchen fiberglass kitchen sinks they made. You know?
Oh, the tri-plate, the ISO plates and tri-plates.
The
fiberglass.
The fiberglass little
those
tubs.
things still go for good money.
Oh, dude, they were awesome.
I actually just offered a guy $250 for one the other day, and he turned me down. So yeah, it's sad. It's
on
it's
more
out there.
levels. Yeah. Well, okay, so fast forward a little bit. You decided that the install life was not for you, and you decided to go to the other side of the counter.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I decided to get, well, let's go all the way back.
Oh, we'll go way back.
Let's go all the way back.
We're here, man.
You
We
want
got
the
an hour.
whole story.
Yeah.
So I got started in the industry in
Zach right here is telling us, just got my two TI3X subs last week. Can't wait to mess with them.
Yeah,
so cool.
The new subs, yeah. Yeah, so I got my start in the industry in 1990. So like you, I'm 28 years in.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so
thanks.
it's been a long time, but I enjoy every bit of it. I've actually tried. I don't know if you've tried to get out.
No. Well, yes. Yeah, I did the rep thing for a little bit.
I actually tried to get out. Went to school, got all of my Microsoft certifications: A+, Net Plus, MCSE, MCNA, Novell. I mean, all that stuff. So I'm good with computer stuff.
She lost me at Windows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I fell right.
Yeah.
I heard. Whoa, 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 whoa.
So
My guy.
yeah, I tried to leave, and the job market just wasn't the same. Because believe it or not, and people don't understand that working in car stereo, it's not just speakers and amps and stuff. You walk into a shop and leave your car for a while.
No.
We actually create a craft. You know, it's beyond just a rinky-dink kid's job. I mean,
well, no, dude,
we're both grown men with kids and everything else.
Yes,
you know, and bills.
And it's paid for a house, it's paid for cars, it's paid for Haley's college. You have 2 kids, 3 kids, one of your own, and instant family, like for Fernando, he got an instant family and one of his own.
Yep. So I mean, good situation. So
it pays
it's real jobs. Like I said, I got started in 1990. And worked my way around being the shop grunt, you know, figuring things out and actually learning to get in cars. Got started in Birmingham, Alabama, with a shop called Audio Systems. And the guy, he's still a good friend of mine, still installing my call. One of the very first thing that was like, here, we want to do this. And it was a Radio Shack alarm for a car.
Oh.
You remember those with just a red and green button?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like one of those things where you go, God, I'm going to kill myself. Cause
Mine was an Excalibur.
I never want to. We sold Excalibur.
Remember the red ones? The was 7.
And they had the 9-volt backup battery on the side of it?
Yeah. That was here. We need this. Could you go put this in? Because all the other guys were busy. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me get my tools out of my car. I'll put that in.
Alarms are totally different back then.
Luis,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Luis, say hi from Portugal.
Hi, Luis.
Yep. Say it, man.
So got started in '90 and worked through that shop for a few years. Met a bunch of guys. Started doing competitions. We were mainly USAC guys back in the day. Then we started traveling over to Atlanta to go and do their hi-fi buys. It was a big chain store. Doing a lot of IASCA shows. Met tons of guys in the industry. Still friends with a lot of these guys, and decided to go work over there with those guys. We pretty much, me and my crew from Alabama, we outgrew our surroundings, and
which is understandable.
Yeah, I mean, we decided to go to Atlanta where the market was bigger and they were doing a lot more cooler cars and everything was more advanced. So at one point in time in my career, I was actually working at 2 shops at the same time. I was working at Audio Systems in Birmingham, and then in Anniston, Alabama is where I met this group of guys from a shop called Sound Effects.
Okay.
So Scott Harris, Shane Haynes, Glenn Woods, and all these other guys. Met them at shows, and they pushed me to go even further than where I was, at the shop I was already at. So with those guys, pretty much decided it was time to, go to the next step, which was in Atlanta, working for Hi-Fi Buys. And at Hi-Fi Buys, I really grew. I went from, always helping out in the Bay to sales managing, assistant store manager, 12-volt manager, all that stuff. I kind of built my little team and crew, so we were able to just bang out all kind of cars. Met a bunch of cool guys there, Doug Potter, Billy Brown, Pete Major. I mean, there's tons of other guys, Matt Turner, tons of guys that were super cool, installers and sales guys, and we bonded and made like really good things and great cars in Atlanta. Then that turned into me leaving there, going to American Radio for a short period of time. Left American Radio, went to Cartoons for a while. And
now there are multiple cartoons.
Yeah, Cartoons of Atlanta.
Yes.
At that point in time, they were in Sandy Springs. Now they're a little bit further north than Roswell.
Okay.
Those guys are awesome, still around, still great friends with all those guys. But in 2004, I pretty much had the
hey Miguel
epiphany to open up my what's up, Ada?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
With an evil eye.
He wants me to come and do his show too. You guys are close, and I travel a lot, so it was just easy to come and see you guys. But I'm coming to do your show, Adam.
You literally live spitting distance. I run past your house every Thursday. I'm like, there's Jeff's
house. I'm sure he's like, yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of 2004, I finally got the notion to open up my own store. So I opened up my first shop, Audio Designs of Atlanta, in Stockbridge, Georgia, and I started in my house because they had to build a building and everything.
Yeah.
Me and my boy Calvin, we built some crazy stuff out of that store, and then I slowly got the rest of my crew, Dave Dobson, Brian Lowe, James Stanton. We all became the go-to shop. I mean, we had cars coming from Seattle, cars coming from Maryland, Texas. I mean, everywhere. We're building SEMA cars, CES cars. I mean, every magazine. We were putting cars in magazines like every other month. I'm writing articles.
What's up, Dave?
Running MB Courts competition team, doing the.
Well, Ed is not going to cut you any slack.
No excuse.
Excuse, man.
I mean, been around for a long time.
There's no MFs on this show. I'm going to tell you right now. There's
no
F-bombs.
We keep
I invite Adam to come do it anytime he wants, but we got to keep the F-bombs.
Kids watch it.
Kids watch the show, so we can't do the cuss words.
But I mean,
his show's private, so they can cuss all night long.
The competition scene was a big part of me growing up.
What's up, Dan? Go ahead.
Yeah, meeting guys. We were MTX guys. We were big MTX Thunder Force from the beginning.
Yeah.
That was part of that history from Alabama to Georgia and everything else. And just building on the whole sound quality side of it, Jason Plank, Scott Rourke, Mark Eldridge, all those guys really took us in and taught us a lot of really cool things. But anyway, when I opened up my shop and we became that really small go-to shop, and we started getting the attention of a lot of different people and places, and we just kept growing with it. So from there, went to the larger shop, Cars of Atlanta. I worked for the guys up at Sound Sensations
so you closed
for a
your
while.
shop, or
Yep.
you just closed it?
Yeah, we had a really bad break-in, and it ruined like so many things, and the insurance company screwed us and everything.
Yeah.
It happened.
Tragedy.
In the industry,
Yeah.
So anyway, I did a stint at at Sound Sensations in Marietta with the whole Vickers crew. We ran their custom shop. We basically took our small shop, put it in their shop, and did a bunch of really cool cars up there. And then broke off from them, went back to doing the shop thing and doing the rep thing. Even back when I had audio designs, I was doing all the external or international training for Zapco. So
Okay.
John Borges and Bob and his son Rogani over at Zapco, we were doing tons of Zapco. We were always doing the brands that were the niche brands.
Yeah.
That made us a bunch of money, that were really good brands that you couldn't shop with everybody else.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, that's
So-
what they were back then.
Yeah, we were the Image on the
I mean, we
Image
didn't,
guys.
but there wasn't even an internet to worry about. But
It was no, the internet was around because that's how we really got our names out there.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we were doing what everyone does
So
now.
what were we like, 2000?
2005.
Okay, so yeah, we had internet.
Right, 2004, 2005. So we were
Yep.
doing posting pictures on Beamer forums.
Yep.
That was like a big part of our business. We did a bunch of BMWs. People were driving like everywhere. The guys from BSW, Bavarian Soundworks, we worked with those guys. We did a lot of their kits. They're major guys now, but they started in Marietta, Georgia, at Hi-Fi Buys,
Right,
with us,
right.
little guys out of their garage that blew up into major companies. But yeah, so I mean, I've been in the industry for a while. Started with Zapco. That was my first real big manufacturing job, kind of, out of the shop, doing international training for that. That was big. Then went to MyTech, MTX,
Yeah.
Extant,
Yep.
Acoustic, all those guys, Street Wires.
Extant.
Yep. Yeah, we competed in their Team X, one with Team Thunder Force, Team Extant, Team Heavy Court.
The science project amplifiers, what I always call them. The
Oh.
science project. Pull that top off and just go.
Extant was unstoppable back in the day, man.
Well, that was a Sound Advice brand here. So.
Oh yeah. Sound Advice here was Hi-Fi Buys in Atlanta.
Yep. Yeah.
And Tweeter and Bryn Mawr and all those other brands around the country.
Ada's throwing you some love.
Oh yeah, we
Yep.
love you too, Ada. And Jason Janita, is one of my good
Yep.
guys.
Okay. And Jeremy said keep it PG-13.
Yeah.
We like to keep it just straight up PG.
What's up, Johnny? Jason say, tell Jeff Jason say his stories are older than him.
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason Janita.
Okay, so you worked for MyTech, which is those guys, and then somehow you worked your way into working at Amp of America.
Yeah, so one of the guys I met when I had my shop, Ken Wiseman, who
Oh yeah, Ken.
yeah, he used to work with us at Amp, and now he's over at
Alpine.
Alpine. He was
Good job on the truck, by the way.
oh
But
Nice.
that felt really good.
Yeah.
Ken's not watching the show, so
yeah,
you want
that's
to
the system in his truck.
Mhm.
But yeah, so Ken was working for Electromedia at the time, Hertz Audison guys.
Yep.
I was the first Hertz Audison dealer in the state of Georgia in 2006. And Ken, Larry Frederick, Larry Penn, all the big
Yep.
guys at Electromedia back then. Anyway, made good friends with all those guys. So anyway, when Ken left Electromedia and came to AMP, he was like, dude, they need help. They need help with like audio. They need
Right.
help with like really rebuilding this whole PG brand. That's why he was leaving to go to AMP to rebuild the PG brand, because he took the Hertz Audison brand when it first came to the U.S. and built it up, and they were massive and really taking over. So he's wanting to build the whole PG brand, and he was like, we need to figure out a way to get you down here. So just over a period of time, it kind of finally worked out, and I came in as being a specific product trainer. I was the only trainer
Yeah.
for AMP at the time, and that was the end of 2013. So now I am...
Which, just to Fernando conveniently pointed out, that's when he actually started a 5-star.
Yeah.
I was
I
in the
started
13?
to-
Yeah, he goes,
2013.
because he was going over today, he was like, hey, did you know Jeff started at AMP in 2013? I was like, apparently he went and searched your bio last night.
Yeah, no, I was trying just to see, because they say you're nominated Installer of the Year for 6 years in a row, and in 2008, 2009 you won.
Right.
So,
So that Installer of the Year thing back in the day, like you would get nominated anonymously. Where
Right.
now you have to nominate yourself. Or back in the day, I mean, you'd open up Installation News and everything else.
I
and-
want to nominate myself.
Yeah, Installation News turned mobile electronics and everything else. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and then
you would see your name in there, and all of a sudden it's like, my name's in the magazine. I got
Right.
someone nominated me as Installer of the Year.
Right.
So I got nominated for Install of the Year many years, and was always thankful and appreciative of that. When I got my store nominated still, and got Retailer of the Year, nominated for Retailer of the Year, top 50 stores and all that stuff, audio designs. But the year before, in 2007, 2008, I got nominated for Top 100, made Top 50, made Top 10, and I could not continue because my father was sick. My father had just had a stroke and a heart attack. He was in the hospital, and we were in the middle of building 2 Tahoes for Major League Baseball in Atlanta, and I just couldn't. There was no way. I had too much going on. I had to put everything down to go deal with my family.
Yeah.
So I had to tell Solomon I had to pull out because of that reason, and I had already done my top 10 submission and everything else, so I had to pull out. So the following year I got nominated again, and I won.
It works out.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
what's up, Teddy? I'd say talk real about how much harder it was for me, minorities, to get ahead of the 12 volts out of the bay.
oh yeah, I mean that's a
What's up
okay.
from Cali?
See, Eileen, she works for us too. She's an engineer at Echo Master.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's
nice.
popping up to watch tonight.
So that's
Raphael.
actually a funny. It's okay. So Ada brings up an interesting point when he's talking about how hard it was for minorities to get into this, and for one to be taken seriously. Okay, and it's ironic because we sit in this room right now. Okay, and we have Fernando, that's from Mexico City.
Yeah.
We have you.
I actually classify as Mexican.
You're darker than me. Okay, and then you have me that's blending in with the box behind my head.
Yeah.
So, to me, I feel yes, that is correct. The industry has changed a lot, and for me, growing up in this industry was probably a lot different than you growing up in this industry.
Yeah. So imagine this. Imagine a kid that. I spent a lot of time growing up and moving back and forth with my family from down south to New York and everything else. So imagine a kid that is, I always think outside the box. So I came up in a different way than a lot of other kids that I lived around. So I raced BMX, I skateboarded, I mean, I did RC cars, I did all the other non-typical stuff.
You could call them white things.
You throw me a basketball, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this?
Okay, because everything you just
like, what
described,
do you
it
want me
was
to
like,
do with this?
because it's funny you mentioned the BMX because we were talking about bikes once, and you were talking about and I was thinking bikes, like Nathan Speedos and and then he's like, oh no man, I ride BMX. I'm like, okay, you need to go to Oldsmar. But. Yeah, RC cars. Yeah, you're right. That was not a typical way to grow up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thing for a dazzling young urbanite like myself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so like Ada said, how hard is it? So, kind of the mentality that I had to take on earlier in my install career was starting that career in Alabama.
Yes.
Okay, so not necessarily to speak bad about that. That was my formative years.
Oh,
and I was
real
able
quick, Mike Eckley is stroking you off right there.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Eckley?
You're the reason why he's there.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Okay.
I got
He's
him
like,
hired.
hey,
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, there you go. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway,
it
it was a situation where I was the only non-white person in my shop.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute.
And almost every sport, activity, any job as far as that goes, I was the only until I brought someone else along.
Right.
When I first went to cartoons in Atlanta, I was the first that they ever hired. Anyway, it always boiled down to one thing. I always felt like I had to work harder.
Yes.
Better.
Oh, no,
faster.
that's true.
Not necessarily faster, but I always had to turn out a more quality product and prove myself based upon my awesome skin tan that I have.
I know,
right?
And I don't have that.
So
I have freckles.
But that being said, I never used that as a crutch ever in my audio career.
Correct.
But it's funny, even back then to this day, people speak to me on the phone or they've talked to me on the internet, and it was rare that I'd ever post a photo of myself on the internet back then, right? So, or even they would talk to me on the phone.
Let's be honest. Jeff, Smith. I
Very,
mean, you know.
very basic names.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jeff Smith.
So
How
if
are
you see my name on a resume, you're not going to go, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Daquan G. No,
Yeah.
it's not gonna,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. Yeah.
Now, it's funny, too, because, like, for me, my first, the first guy I worked for was Greek.
Mhm.
Okay, and he was straight up Greek, you know? And I'm like, I was the odd man out because I was the white guy. And it's like, you know, everyone comes in there, oh, Greek. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm white. You know, and then I come and I work for Paul, who's, there again, straight off the boat Indian.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm used to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just the white.
Yeah.
And it's funny, though, because in even both of those situations, it was like, yeah, you're the owner, right? Like, no, it's those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are the owners.
So let me tell you a couple funny stories. So one of the funniest things that happens a lot, and it still happens to this day, is people will go, hey, when I first had my shop,
Yeah.
talk to me on the phone, or I would work at anyone else's shop. Be like, yeah, I talked to Jeff on the phone, and you know, I'm supposed to come in to get an estimate, or you're supposed to look at my car, or whatever else. I'm like, okay, I'm Jeff, and they're like, no, Jeff, the white guy, and I'm like,
You know,
only one Jeff in here.
Yeah,
you know, Larry's the white guy. People think he's funny. He's a real estate investor, and he makes a lot of money.
Yeah. So yeah, that would happen a lot, and probably one of the worst things that ever happened was this is when I was working at Audio Systems. I had a lady with a Jaguar. This is how old this was.
Okay,
Jaguar, and we were doing. She came in, and I helped her, and I sold her a Sony 10-disc FM modulated CD changer for her Jaguar.
Okay.
All right. Our shop at the time had 2 bays. We did wheels and tires and everything else. And Tommy Heitch, the guy who the installer out in the bay, he's like knee deep in building something out in the bay. And I tell the lady, I'm like, okay, well, we signed, you know, we did all the paperwork. She wrote a check and everything else. And I go and hand all the receipt and everything to the boss who's sitting in his office, who's an Indian guy as well.
Go figure.
The Shinaras from that whole area. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I tell the lady, okay, if I can get your keys, I'll go ahead and pull your car around so we can get started. And she goes, excuse me? And I'm like, yeah, if I can get your keys, we can pull it around and get your CD changer installed. And she goes, you're going to drive my car? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman drove the shit out of his dad. So, I mean, I got this covered, man.
Right, so, and it took me a second to realize what was happening because that's not how I think, right?
Yeah.
So, and I realized what was going on, and she sees Tommy through the little windows at our shop. And she's like, is there any way he can drive my car?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, no, he's in the middle of working on something right now. You know?
Right.
So, literally, no joke, the lady was like, I'd feel a lot better if he drove my car around to work on it. So, I just kind of like walked out of the bay, walked out of the showroom into the bay and stood there for a second. Said all kinds of stuff in my head, but I'm like, okay, I got to keep it together. So I walk into the office and I'm I close the door and I talk to Johnny. I'm like, Johnny, look, I just sold this lady a CD. He goes, yeah, I got her check. He goes, she doesn't want me to drive her car. And he goes, what? It's like, yeah, she doesn't want me to drive her car. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna let you handle this. This is, I'm gonna stay out of it and let you handle it. So I walk back out and I tell the lady, I said, ma'am, is it an issue that I drive your car in, or is it just an issue you don't want your car damaged or anything else? And she just said, I just prefer for him to drive my car in. But it was okay for you to pay me and talk to me and we went over everything else.
Right.
You just don't want me driving your car. I said, okay. I said, well, let's just do this. And I got her check back and I gave her check back to her. And I said, we don't have to do your car. You can just leave. You know, appreciate you coming in. We don't have to do your car. And she just gave me this look like, I need to speak to your manager on whoever else. And he immediately came right out and defended me. And she was just like, well, you know, just going off and, you know.
Right.
Anyway, long story short, we didn't do her car. And, like, from that day on, you know, that was just one of those experiences that.
Yeah, it sticks with you for sure.
Unfortunately, I don't think you'll ever get that. You know, and I don't know if you've ever had experiences here.
I mean, it's
you just let it roll off your back, you know. And next thing you know, here comes a Snap-on Matco guy. He takes my money just like he takes your money every week. You know?
I mean, so Fernando will tell you, I take everything personally. So I mean, it doesn't matter. If that would have been me for any reason, I'd have lost my mind. Would have just exploded. And
no, and we have few customers. They came over here and they started, you know, doing bad things, and Dean just losing it, you know, just losing, and it's like, listen, we don't need your business. I mean,
Right.
we give you customer service for this and this and this. If you don't want to, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
But I will tell you, okay, so, not to go down this rabbit hole, but this is more of a funny story than yours. Yours was utterly depressing, and it's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And of course, me being me, I would have said to the lady, I would have said, oh, you want him to drive your car? Dude, he barely has a driver's license. He's got 32 points on his license.
Right.
I pulled him out of the... He was drunk his ass off. We don't let him drive cars, but
Yeah.
let me go hand him the keys.
Yeah, not to mention,
You know,
Tommy was a big dude. Big,
yeah.
dude, sweated a lot.
Yeah, the 360-pound guy.
Yeah, Tommy was a big guy,
When he
so
went to
getting
put
in
a-
that car was going to be difficult anyway.
He's
so.
the guy that when he goes to put in a car, he sits on the ground and he pulls the car up next to him.
Yeah.
I had one of those guys. Those guys are great.
I used to work with a guy at Hi-Fi Buys, this crazy story, named Kevin Mickle. This has nothing to do with racial issues. But he was a big guy. But he was always the guy that loved to work on Miatas.
Yeah.
He was a big dude.
Oh,
and he would be
Jesus,
hanging
yes.
in the
Oh,
Miata.
yeah.
Yeah, it was always funny.
Yeah. There you go.
So we have
see?
these cool magnetic lights, Saber lights, that we use in the show.
Yep.
And Fernando was putting a backup camera in, and he stuck it underneath the car, and he left it on the car. Dodge Ram. Now,
My
those things
bad.
are like $100
Yeah.
a piece.
Yeah.
Guy drives all the way home to St. Pete Beach, calls me back and says, hey, I just closed my garage door, and there's light coming from underneath my car.
Yeah.
Is that yours, or is that Mexican's?
The Mexican helper. The Mexican
The
helper.
Mexican helper. And I go, it's mine. He goes, all right, well, I'll get it back to you. If it was his, though, I don't know if I'd bring it back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That
And-
sucks.
Okay,
Yeah.
but this guy was trying to be funny. He's one of those older guys that thinks shit like that's cool. I'm sorry, stuff like that is funny and it's okay.
Yeah.
And dude, I will tell you this: he put it in a box and he shipped it back to us.
Yeah.
Wow.
He paid the shipping and
paid to-
everything.
to ship
it was
it back.
hilarious. So he's a great guy, and I actually had to sit in his car and show him how to use the radio. But you know, he's one of those guys that he comes in and he goes, "Hola, little Mexican guy."
Yeah.
You know, you're just like.
And I'm like,
I'm just sitting there
Hey,
going, this world is
yeah.
so different than it
Yeah.
used to be.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
You know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like, no.
Yeah,
but
and the crazy thing is that some people don't even realize that they're doing it.
Oh, Haley's. Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people don't even realize that they're saying certain things that may offend people. So, now that I'm at AMP, we offend. Well, we have fun. We have fun at work, but
Yeah.
we do it tastefully.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's,
Oh, we
it's
do here too.
Oh, yeah. A lot of that gets edited out.
Yeah.
All right, so we're caught up. We know who you are now.
Yep.
And we know you've had a bad experience in an install bay with a very rude woman and attended the CD
It is
changer.
what it is, man.
Oh, it's funny you
Made
mentioned.
me stronger.
Did you ever watch YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this little show.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I watch you guys all the time.
there's another guy out of New Zealand, car audio, etc.
Yeah.
And James, and he just got done working on the Jag, and I realized what I say. Bill Bauer. Okay, real quick, Bill Bauer, right there underneath Mike Eckley.
Yep.
That's the guy I was just talking about. That he would sit down next to the car and pull the car next to him.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Bill's the man. Anyways, we worked together for years. It was great. But anyway, so James just got done working on a Jag. It was like a 3-part episode, and the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm watching. This might be like the last car he works on because his owner's getting ready to sell the shop. I'm like, could you not think of a worse car to have to work on before you were like, I'm going to be done with selling and doing car audio. Hey, guess what? Here's a Jag. No, I'm done. Screw this crap. I mean, no way, man. It's like, the last car I get to work on as an installer is a Jag? What did I work on last time? That's the car I got to work on last time as an installer.
Yeah, there's certain cars you just don't want to work in.
Jag
Man.
sucks.
You remember the Subaru Brat?
Oh, yeah. I had the remote control car.
I remember having to put a radio in one of those. That was one of the early cars you had to cut
Oh, yeah.
from a shaft to a din.
Oh, yeah. Those were great.
And all the Chevy Silverados.
Oh, dude. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, check this out. I was at ABS. I didn't have any ABS. I was like, we need some plastic. The only piece of plastic I had that was black was a VCR case. Okay? No kidding. Took a black VCR case.
Cut it down.
Made a trim ring. Boom. There you go. Rock on, man. Yeah, that was fun. That was a long time ago. Hey, Rick Booth says hi. What's up?
Yep.
All right, so
Rick, what's up, dude?
So, let's talk about AMP Global, because we're here. That's why we have you here. Let's start with AMPRO, because AMPRO is honestly probably the coolest. Like, if you're... if I have to sit back and think of things in the car audio that has really evolved into something that we've always talked about, and I'm sure you've had conversations with people years ago about the concept of AMPRO. I mean, Nathan, we all know Nathan. Him and I, we hang out and we've had this conversation many a times, and he would just look at me like, well, okay, so what do you want this thing to do?
Yeah.
But it exists now, and it exists fast.
So let's step back for a second. So at AMP, we are different from most other cardio companies because we have so many brands under our umbrella.
Yes.
Right? So we have the ability to, mix and match things and be able to take all the minds and make really cool products. So AMPRO, which is the amplifier integration piece for amplified, smart amplified systems, is actually a second coming. So the previous version was the PAC C2As.
Okay.
Remember
Yeah.
those? All right. So that was a really cool piece, way ahead of its time. And then the cars developed even more, which made AMPRO be a true viable product. So what AMPRO does, if people don't know, AMPRO is a plug-and-play T-harness with an interface that allows you to take the 2-channel fixed audio out of a factory amplifier out of a factory head unit before it goes into an amplifier and turn that into front rear sub out 4-volt or 5-volt, and even have the option for plug-in optical output as well.
Toslink, yeah.
Toslink out, right?
And a bass knob.
And a bass knob in the box.
And retain everything.
Everything.
Backup sensors, Bluetooth.
In those particular
GPS.
vehicles, there's no longer a need for
this.
summing devices.
Yeah, we don't have
right?
to do summing.
Yeah, so you don't have to spend all that time cutting wires, adding load resistors, having to figure out which signal is high pass, which signal is band pass. If it's a Ford and you figure out, unfortunately, after the customer's blown up 4 sets of tweeters, you can't sum the sub signal into the other channels in order to sum them. Just things like that. So
Chris Bennett, nice shirts.
Oh, Chris Bennett, monitor control.
I just want to say, Chris, I just want to say, buddy.
Wish I had one of those nice shirts.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
He's shipping me something here soon. I'll have him throw Jeff one in the box. I'll deliver
I'll
it
see
to
my
him.
knowledge vest again.
Oh, there you go.
Jason is a cool guy from Stereo King.
Yeah, Stereo King was good guys. Yeah.
Yep.
They're customers of ours.
He want to know when the Chevy AMPRO will be out.
Jason, slow down. We're getting to that. Just slow down. There's a method to my interviewing here, so give me a minute.
Yes. So AMPRO is, like I say, is really awesome. It makes installing amplifiers in these cars a breeze, where it would normally take you before 4 to 6 hours.
Let's not talk about speed, because
Okay.
speed is not necessarily an issue here. I mean, I know the ad. Let's get to drinking beer and all that fun stuff.
All right. It's the way to get the best audio sound possible.
Let's talk about the quality aspect of it, not necessarily the speed. Because at the end of the day, everyone says it's fast, and I've seen guys that have tried to do videos to show how fast it was, and at the end of the day, it was like, you're not doing anything. Our video is like half hour, 45 minutes long, and we did
speed
more
is not.
time
I mean,
lapse
you
than
go
anything.
breaking panels and things like that. Speed
So
is not necessarily, but
it's the tool for the job.
Right.
AMPRO exists now, and it has allowed us to, what I like to refer to it as, take a factory radio and give it that aftermarket preamp section we always wanted.
Exactly.
And so now you don't have to get rid of your big 8-inch, you don't have to get rid of your Sync 3, you don't have to get rid of your JBL system, but there's a lot of struggle with it because it's still a developing product.
Correct. So we currently have 3 Chrysler platforms. We have shipping as of today.
Shipping
as of today.
Yeah.
We have 3 Chrysler platforms. We have 2 Ford platforms, 1 Toyota, and
I have to agree with that. It says C2A was the death sentence for Chrysler. Yeah, that was a nightmare.
and the GM piece that we've been showing, the new AP4 GM61, will start shipping. I want to say the beginning of Q2.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, Q2 if they don't understand that.
Quarter 2.
Yeah.
The
Second
GM
quarter.
piece.
Yeah.
GM piece.
So that'd be
AP4
June.
GM61.
Yeah.
No, like April.
April. Oh, okay.
Oh.
I always think.
January, March, first
I always think
quarter.
of the quarter as the
Quarter
end of the quarter.
No.
Because everyone that says it'll be out second quarter usually is like the day before third quarter.
Actually, what's really cool is that if people don't understand how electronics works, so Chinese New Year just hit.
Yes, April.
And everything shuts down for electronics companies. No, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
And
yeah.
in order for us to
That's
get the GM module and keep it on schedule. So Tony Tasillo, that works for us, one of our engineers, engineering techs at AMP, he has actually been hand soldering all these pieces.
Well, you did send him to school for that.
Yeah, he is a certified
Soldering.
soldering
wow.
technician and all this stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, all of our engineers at AMP are really good guys.
So
And this piece is going to be pretty cool.
All right, so let's take this back a minute and try to wrap our heads around some of the concept of what has allowed this to happen. So Dodge uses a certain data bus that you guys had to basically develop into. Ford uses a data bus of their own. Toyota uses the biggest nightmare data bus of their own.
E-bus, yep.
And then Chevy uses a totally different data bus.
Most bus.
Most bus. So it's not like you could make one piece that would just magically work in all these cars.
Right.
You guys had to...
That's the difference between us and other guys is we don't do the whole here's one box and flash it. We try to be specialized and make sure we cover every possible scenario that's going to happen in that particular platform or vehicle.
Right.
So that's why with the Chryslers you have 3 different models. You have a C8 AP4 CH21 for your low-speed can cars, 41 for your high-speed can cars, and the and the AP4 CH31 for your dual can cars that include, like the Maserati Ghibli and all those weird year Chrysler vehicles. And then the
Good one.
this guy.
Yeah.
Then you have
Ginger
the
ale, every time.
Yeah, the Toyota covers some Lexus platforms as well.
Yeah.
None of the Lexus with factory navigation because that is, we found out, most bus as well, like GM.
Right.
So we're having to develop a new
Now-
a new piece for Toyota vehicles and Lexus that have not Toyota.
So let's
only
talk about
Lexus.
most bus. Now, okay, so just like Apple, if you want to put Apple on anything or iPod certified, most bus you have to be most bus certified in order to make products for their cars. So I mean, just the certification alone and the tools required is a big investment for. I mean, granted, the reward is hopefully worth it, but it's a huge investment that AMP had to make.
Yeah.
And of course, then the engineers had to be trained to develop for most.
Yep.
I mean, they're both smart guys, so
Yeah. I mean, Greg Kohler and Mike Lake and all of our other Gary Mazer, all of our other engineers on the pack side, they had to be most certified in order to be able to work. To be able to even understand this stuff.
Right.
I think it's called a most consortium or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money that we have to invest every time there's any type of new data bus structure out there. If it's not something we can pick up on already, but something like that, you cannot. A real company is not going to make Apple products
that aren't certified.
certified.
Correct.
There's just no way around it. Whereas Android, you could be an Android developer here at 5-star. I mean, you don't have to have any particular certification.
Right.
That's the hardest thing about Apple and Android is that those of us who are Apple, I'm a diehard Apple guy. I know you're an Apple guy.
No, not me at all.
Yeah.
And you're an Apple guy too. And when you take an Apple device, whether you're here in Clearwater, Florida, you're in Vancouver, Canada, you're in Iceland, you're in South Africa, it's the same regardless. Android could be different from you to me to here to Hooters across the street. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Android is not it's not the same.
No, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
So
of
vehicle
stuff.
platforms are the same way. We have to be on top of our game whenever it turns into a situation where a new car comes out and people go, man, you guys come out late to the game whenever a new platform comes out, a new car comes out. It's not that we come late to the game. We have to make sure the product we put out is going to be the absolute right thing.
And let's be honest. Okay, the people that are saying that don't understand because, I mean, you read the same stuff I read. And at the end of the day, when you say we have brand X and brand Y and we have our brand, 9 times out of 10 they're recommending your brand because they've dealt with the necessary evils and they're over it.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, these guys might be first to market, but they're also the last on the shelf because I don't want to deal with that headache.
I mean, there's great guys at all of our companies, man. So it literally comes down to, I was watching the show on Saturday, and you were talking about, someone asked about steering wheel controls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were asking about the ASWC.
Yeah.
ASWC has its place, but if you go to another shop down the road, they may love it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're used to it and know how it works.
Love it.
But since you've been around pack from day one.
Peripheral. Yes.
Yeah.
It was
So,
peripheral
yeah.
back then.
Green boxes.
Green boxes
Yeah.
with purple stickers.
So once you get accustomed to something and that becomes your go-to, that really is just the way you gravitate toward when you know you have a reliable product.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get in touch with the guys. I mean, I'm one of the weirdos because I come from the Bay. I come from what you guys are still doing every day.
Yes.
So I know when someone's having a problem and they need someone to help them. My phone is on, like my phone's in my back pocket right now,
Right.
vibrating like crazy. When guys have
It's because they're going, dude, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
When people have tech questions, man, I'm telling you, middle of the night, weekends, holidays. Like the other, we were at Knowledge Fest, and we're in Long Beach. 4 o'clock in the morning, I had a dealer in the Philippines hitting me up because he was having issues with his DSP,
Oh, yeah.
and
Shocking.
he's like,
Oh.
I can't connect to it, and I'm like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. All right, give me like 2 minutes. Let me get up, and we FaceTime for 15 minutes. It was an easy fix.
Right.
But that's just one of those things. I know what it's like to be in the Bay and having a problem,
Yeah.
and there's no one to help you.
Yeah.
So I always try to be open to people to answer calls and text messages and Facebook messages and everything else. So,
Well, and that was okay. So this whole thing that we do here, this started with the purpose of this show, not this particular show, but our show, the whole 5-star YouTube thing, was to help people do their car audio. Not necessarily install it, not necessarily, we're not trying to give away any secrets here. But, it actually just started with this simple thing: is how do you set a clock?
right,
How do you make the VCR stop blinking?
right,
And that's what we started with and it has exploded into everything else that it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And we always get the question is how do you answer all these questions? And it's like we can't. We
Right.
physically can't do it, but that's why we have 2 live shows. We have a podcast,
Right.
and we try to answer
install
stuff.
diaries, and all
Install
that.
diaries.
Yeah.
That if you watch the show 9 times out of 10, we answer a question you're going to have.
Yep.
Is to just move the industry along, and not necessarily from the Bay side, but from the consumer side. We want to bring, like, this whole, right now, we have our consumers that are watching this, and they're learning something that there might be a kid watching this right now that's like, holy crap, I could be you.
Correct. Some of the
And-
kids, they watch.
Fernando has a little kid come up to him the other day, and he goes, this is hilarious. Fernando comes over and he goes, you're not going to believe what this kid said to me. And I'm not going to do my Mexican accent, but he goes, the kid goes, I don't like your show. He goes, no, it gets better. He goes, I love your show.
Nice.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was like,
And Fernando's
I
sitting
was
there
working
going,
in a car and just like, what?
and it's like, and we get text messages all the time, or we get, I read emails all the time of people saying, I was never I haven't been in car audio since I was, in high school or since I was in college, and man, I can't wait. I love watching your show. I can't wait to buy my next DVD player. I can't wait to get a set of speakers. Or they just go, I just like watching it because it brings back old memories of, or they'll be like, man, I can't believe you guys are doing this stuff to these cars.
You know how many
It's so
people
hard."
get up every day and hate their jobs? Like they hate to roll out of bed. I mean,
No.
This guy.
Yeah.
we would not be doing what we do if we didn't love it. I mean, it's not like a just go in, punch the clock. We're car guys, number one. You have to be a car guy to be in this industry.
Yeah.
You got to be a tech geek. You have to have some sort of liking for the whole guy automotive, type environment. So,
Which is totally weird because I'm not any of those guys. Dude, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I don't know what I'm doing here,
but
man.
you love all the cameras and everything else and all the digital
All the
stuff.
technology,
so-
yes.
Yeah, you just happen to be good with a set of tools, and that just turns into a different craft. So not everyone's meant for college. I tried college; it wasn't for me.
Oh, dude, trust me, I went to school for being.
It wasn't
dude,
for me.
I did 2 years as an architect.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's where all this came from.
I
Dude,
remember growing up in my family. A few people in my family would be like, you work at a stereo shop. Like,
oh, everyone said that to me.
When are you gonna get a real job?
Oh yeah, trust
I remember
me.
graduating high school. I was working still at the shop, and I was in DECA. You remember what DECA was in high school?
Yes.
So you went to school for half the day, you got out and went
Yeah.
to work and things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
And they kept up with your grades and everything else.
Mhm.
And, I graduated high school in '94. It tells you how old I am. I graduated high school in '94,
I graduated in '90.
making over $30,000 a year. Installing at a shop.
I was working for Procter & Gamble.
Doing what?
Remodeling of stores and product placement on shelves.
Wow.
You thought this was all just There's a lot.
See, I met you when I first moved down here.
Yes,
So
exactly.
and I knew the story of you and Nathan, knowing each other and working together back in the day.
No,
so
Nathan,
Nathan still shows me, talks about his Bonneville.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
With the
yes.
Orion
yes.
and everything
I'm sure
else
he's got
in
the
the
same
back,
story he
so.
tells when we almost died. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that a dozen times. No, I went to school for architecture. I was an architecture major. I drew forever.
I was going to be an accountant.
I was not going to be an accountant.
Yeah, I'm really good with Tinky, man. But I was going to be an accountant, and that was where I was headed, and I got bit by the car bug. So
Chris Bennett say nothing is better than a real factory person that cares enough to be
cares enough
available to their dealer base.
To the dealer base.
Chris is the same way, man. There's a lot of good guys in our industry that bend over backwards to, help people and educate people. So
anytime I saw Chris, anytime I didn't even know I was on vacation. I sent him an email, and he emailed me back, and I was like, "Oh man, I didn't know you were on vacation. My bad. Sorry, bro." All right, so AMPRO is cool. It's the future for sure. It's going to continue to get bigger.
Yeah, more and more models coming.
Now just to. AMPRO 1 was the C whatever.
C2A.
Yeah, well, it was just because it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And then we have the current iteration of AMPRO, and we're running with that.
AP4.
But the question we always get is, should I buy an AMPRO or should I buy like a DSR1 or something like that? Because you can interface. And the whole
DSP,
question is the DSP.
Yeah.
Now, my answer to that is always, it really just depends on how intimate you want to get with your stereo system. Do you have the capability to manipulate 32 bands of equalization on every channel?
Right.
And at the end of the day, crossover is pretty cool. Time correction's not so hard. And I mean that general. I'm not taking perfect time correction. I'm talking like front rear sub time correction, not tweeter mid raise. That kind of time correction gets way out of hand. But that 32 band EQ is a real killer, for sure. That can really that will make this system very difficult. So I always say those are the things you have to take into consideration. However, we both know that maybe the third iteration of an AMPRO will be coming.
If I was able to take this shirt off and speak unofficially.
No, you don't have to speak officially.
No, we're looking at that. There may or may not be something to that effect. Can't say if it's
no, you don't have to.
Going to be a whatever
don't worry,
brand.
these guys don't say nothing.
Anything else. But no, we're definitely working on it. And that's one of the things that I think we do really well. And it's funny, Nathan, our buddy Nathan, we talk about a lot of our products when we're making them being first to market.
Right.
Eric LeClaire, the other guy that works with us, came up with something really cool that we talk about. Yeah, Mr. Mustache. That's in a lot of our product videos. Eric came up with a saying a couple weeks ago that Nathan brought up to me, and it's really cool. So we may not be first to market with a lot of things, but we are a lot of times best to market. Like, look at our Camaro kit.
Yes.
Totally revolutionized, dash kit, radio installation for the Camaro. So I kind of look at AMPRO, the second iteration of AMPRO, well, third iteration of AMPRO kind of being that, because we look at what everyone else does, and we look at how difficult consumers, because we do a lot of consumer, we get a lot of dealer information and look at how hard things are to interface with and what kind of time frame it takes for people to do stuff. We spend a lot of time talking to you. We talk to guys at Cartoons here in Largo. We talk to my guys, Cartoons back in Atlanta. We talk to a lot of different guys, ATA and dealers all over the place. We send them prototype stuff. We have our close-knit little group of specialized guys, pack pros around the country that you're one of our pack pros and all the other guys. Yeah. And we really try to get on the get into the installer's mind frame and figure out exactly what they need to make their jobs easier, and that's one of those scenarios of the next generation of AMPRO.
And there again, like I said, AMPRO to me is a future, and I feel like the future is bright, and I feel that's a category that's going to keep growing. Mm-hmm. Let's change here for a minute and not talk about tech. Let's talk about fun stuff.
Okay.
Let's talk about Phoenix Gold. Because, man, at the end of the day, Phoenix Gold is really...
It's the fun part of AMP.
It's the fun part of AMP.
It's the emotion. It's
your favorite. I'm assuming it's got to be your favorite.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can talk about AMP Pro until you're blue in the face. You can talk about Radio Pro until you're blue in the face. You can talk, and you can bang your head with this Why are people buying SWIRCs instead of CP2s?
Yeah.
It's so much better. We have an app for...
Yeah, and the way I try to explain it to people in our company is that all the other brands we have are necessities. Pack, integration.
Yes.
You can't even start to put in an aftermarket radio without an integration piece
Correct.
from Pack.
Yes.
When you need to connect your phone, there's iSimple.
Well, I mean, that's just the wall we're looking at. We
Right,
get
yeah, the wall behind you. You know, when you're trying to connect your phone into a car, you have iSimple to keep, connected.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to not back up over your kids and you
Keep
want
talking.
to, see all this
Yeah.
other stuff. We have EchoMaster, our safety
Yeah.
brand, right? Phoenix Gold.
Hey, nice conversation, by the way. I saw that picture.
Hey, you never hear anyone going, "Hey, man, did you hear that Pack harness go down the road?"
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
did you hear that, EchoMaster camera shaking my windows as they went by? No. Phoenix Gold is the emotion, car audio, speakers, amplifiers. People's number one, the thing they want to upgrade when they come in the shop typically is the sound of their car.
Yeah.
They want better audio, but then they want bass.
Well,
Bass is the emotion of our industry, Everyone remembers that first time they heard real bass. And that's what, still draws guys in when you talk about guys who have been out of the industry for so long.
Yeah.
The first story they tell is the
Yeah.
biggest car they built with the biggest subwoofers and everything else.
Dude, man, I had two 12s, I had two 10s, and I had two 8s, and it sounded amazing in my Camaro.
Yeah.
It was an IROC Z, bro. That was so bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
this
before
guy.
you talk about this, okay. So Thomas say, any plans to update the TI2 amps or to the TI3?
TI2 amplifiers was Thomas Byers. That
Yep.
pronounce his name?
Yep.
Thomas. So the TI2 amplifiers are completely discontinued. They are pretty much gone from our inventory because we released the new TI3 line at CES this past January. So the TI3 line completely replaces the older TI2.
it's big.
It is big, but there's a reason.
Well, because it needs to be.
It needs to be. I'm glad you understand this. Back when we made real cars, cars were big, motors were big, and everything else.
But
But
they're gone now.
They're gone now.
And
Everyone
everything's
can't drive
small.
a little smart car.
Why not, man? 415s and a Prius is
Prius,
awesome.
yeah.
415s in a Prius may fit, but how are you going to power those amplifiers?
Hey, listen, man, I had that same debate and I lost, so...
Yeah.
10 amps of current are never going to drive 415s. So just
You don't tell me that, but I lost that argument. So,
Right.
so what we have is this is the TI3. This is,
TI3 1200.4.
now there's how many in this line?
There are 4 amplifiers in the TI3 line. There are 2 multi-channels, the TI3 1200.4 and the 1606 that's going to be coming out in another month or so.
It's going to be bigger than this.
It is going to be a little bit longer because it's 6 channels. This is a 4 channel.
Oh, okay.
And then there's 2 monoblocks, the TI3 1300.1 and then
Nice.
the 2000.1.
That's
So
bigger.
the 1200 and the 1300 are the same chassis size, so you can make matching amp racks.
Okay, and then
You
the
know,
other two will be the same.
And the
size.
other two are the exact same size.
Jesus,
But people look at these things like these and the SX2 that you guys
Yeah.
have on the wall,
Yeah.
and they go, just like you pull out of the box, you go, Jesus, this is big.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Well, yeah,
But,
yeah.
You know, they still fit in typical installation places. Like even in my car and in Ken's truck and I've been able to put these amplifiers
You did
under
see that
seats.
little 801.5 Kenwood 5-channel, right?
Yeah, I see that little Kenwood chip and 5 channel.
Dude, did you see Old School Car Stereo?
I
Just
did.
that. Did
Yeah.
you see the power that
Yeah.
thing is kicking?
That little Pioneer
Yeah,
amplifier
9605.
That was
monstrous.
Holy
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just a totally different way of approaching things. You know?
He's a great guy too. If you ever need him to do anything for you, let me know.
Christian,
Big
this
big
one is a
deep
4
whiz?
channel.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a 4
Yeah,
channel.
Christian, this one is a
the
4
guy.
channel.
We
Yeah.
talk all the time.
So this one's a little different. So in the TI3 series, we have new technology that goes between the TI3 and the SX2 series. Bass shift. Bass shift is your typical sub knob.
Yeah.
But it also has variable phase for the subwoofer, so that way you can blend your subwoofer mid bass.
So I don't know why that sounds like a John feature.
Oh, John Catalano.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
sounds so much.
So
like a
we
John
already
feature.
had the variable phase on the actual
Yes.
amplifier, but the problem with that was you'd be in the front of the vehicle,
You
he's
couldn't
in the
tell.
back of the vehicle
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Trunk's
or
open.
you're running back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
The trunk's open, you can
Yeah.
never do it right. So in order for us to make it a single adjustment where you can physically sit in the driver's seat and make an adjustment and really understand what's going on.
And this is actually true phase, not polarity.
Correct. It is actually true phase. So
and for those who don't know,
and it's variable from 0 to 180, and not just a normal 0 or 180 switch on the amplifier or on the head unit.
Right.
So so now base shift allows you sub-level control and variable phase on your subwoofer output. In TI3 and in SX2, the other major feature in TI3 is power shift.
Right.
So this is another technology thing that was created by John Catalano and Kevin Kunze, and it allows you to shift the voltage inside the amplifier, shift your power around to the channels. So if you're doing an active system, I see you guys are starting to do a lot more active stuff and doing higher end installs. Don't you care, Focal and Audison and all these.
Like you
other
said, we never do high end installs.
all these big brands,
Before we go, I'm sorry, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us. You have to leave.
That's all right. We're
Jason,
we're gonna keep going. We're not gonna let Jason be the keeper of the time tonight. I'm sorry. But thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
So base shift. So this amplifier in normal mode is 225 watts into 4 channels.
Okay.
So this is a monster, right?
Oh, Jesus.
900 watt 4-channel amplifier.
Is this AB?
No, it is a full range D amplifier.
Okay. All right.
And typical Class D amplifiers are small.
Thing. Yeah.
But we changed it from the previous TI2 instead of having wires on each side. We have single end plate design.
Yeah.
But we make a ton of power.
Yes.
The previous 4-channel was only 1,000 watts at max.
Right.
Okay. This unit will go above 1,200 watts.
Okay.
So that's why I got a lot bigger, better components, better board layout. We actually have enough heat sink to dissipate the heat in the right way.
I was going to say, I was talking to a guy today, today or Saturday, it's all a blur, when we were talking about Phoenix Gold, and I was like, because he was complaining about this, that, and the other, and I was like, look, when Stinger bought Phoenix Gold was...
AMP bought Phoenix Gold.
Okay, that's what I meant, I'm sorry. Well, So when AMP bought Phoenix Gold, it was in disarray.
Correct.
And they bought holdings and products, and they had to sell through it because it was an investment.
Correct.
And then those products turned into what the previous generation was, which at the end of the day was still a learning experience.
Right. Well, I mean, we're 9 years into the brand now.
Yes.
Because it was an original U.S. brand back when Keith Peterson, who actually was a part of AMP for a really long time after we bought them, and it was a process.
Yes.
We literally, Phoenix Gold used to be that premier brand.
Right.
There was nothing other than PG back in the day.
So this is the third, technically the second, but the third reincarnation that you guys have had with the product.
Correct.
And this has definitely evolved a lot.
Way miles better than any of the previous products.
For sure. I mean, the 6-channel, the little 6-channel we have up there is, sexy.
I'd say, what about the special edition 9-channel thing?
Zen. The Zen.
Oh, the Zen? It's coming. I know everyone's like, that's one of those things in cardio that happens. Look at, it's happened a million times before.
Well, look at JBL with the CarPlay radio. That,
Right, and they had to retract it.
Yeah, they said it never came out. It came out.
We came out with a design. We came out with a concept for the Zen 9, and we cannot let the product go out until we know it's manufactured to its highest capability.
Yes.
It's going to do exactly what we say, and it just has to be, when it's a limited edition, it has to be
a product to
perfect.
Work, yes.
Yeah.
And let's look at a couple. When the DSP was first introduced, it was introduced and it was wrong, and it was like, all right, do we do wrong or do we do right? And it was like, well, wait, we'll do right, because at the end of it, what's the hurry?
Right.
What are you missing out on?
Right.
And honestly, the only other company that really is good at that is Alpine.
Right.
Because Alpine's like, we don't care if we're 2 years behind everyone. We want to come out with a product that is going to be bulletproof.
That's right.
And it's going to be right. And they're, that's why, a lot of people, Alpine this, Alpine that. It's like, yeah, but it's solid.
Right.
Like, it'll never do dumb shit.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Hey, you have no hair.
I got my hair done before I came over today.
So anyway, we got these new guys here, and it is heavy.
That's nice.
It's very heavy.
Yeah, that's nice.
So anyway, power shift.
Power shift. Sorry. Yes, we went bad.
225 by 4, right?
Stickers gotta go. Yeah, I know, that's so silly.
Okay.
So power shift. So it's 225 by 4, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're doing an active system, you don't want 225 watts going to your tweeters.
No.
So when you put the amplifier in power shift mode, it adjusts the voltage rails and takes that power from the front 2 channels and moves it to the rear channels for your mid-bass or mid-range or subwoofers, whatever you're going to do.
Right.
So it goes from 225 down to 150 by 2, and then takes your 225 by 2 in the back up to 300 by 2.
Oh, wow.
All right?
Yes.
Now, imagine if you're going to do a set of components in the front
Yes.
and then subwoofer off the back.
Okay.
So 225 by 225 by 4.
Right.
Then you bridge channels 3 and 4.
Okay.
And in normal mode, it's 600 watts at 2 ohm mono.
Mono, really?
2 ohm mono.
2 ohm mono.
2 ohm mono.
Holy crap.
Right. PG's always been able to do really low ohm load, so we
Right.
can do 1 ohm stereo,
Okay.
which is 2 ohm mono.
Yes.
We can
Okay,
do,
there we
you
go.
know,
That makes
everything
sense.
like that.
Yeah.
So if you put the amplifier into power shift mode on channels 3 and 4 on a 4-channel amplifier, you can let front 1 and 2 play your front components without a problem.
Right.
You can take channels 3 and 4 and bridge them down to a 2 ohm mono load and get over 900 watts out of the back half of the amplifier.
Wow.
All day long.
Okay.
Power. I mean, the amplifiers are solid. They're monsters, and people wonder why they're so big because they make a lot of power. Remember the Rockford Power Series amps that were like really big?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
we got
everything
one
was
screwed-
big
we have
back
one
in the
in
day.
Yeah, we got
The-
one screwed
the
in the wall
wall.
back there.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
we'll know in the install bay. We have
Yeah.
a 2000.
Yeah, everything was big. I mean, because you have to put in big capacitors,
You need
big output
heatsink.
devices. You need heatsink to dissipate the heat.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was one of the things we learned with our previous models was that you had to have that. This is Josh Landau from JML Audio calling me right now because he needs a tech question. You want to hear how this goes? This is a typical thing.
Yeah,
Josh
go
calls
ahead.
me.
Go ahead.
It's probably going to be a problem. Hey, Josh.
How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I'm actually doing Facebook Live with the guys from 5 Star Car Audio. So you're on Facebook Live. I'm taking your tech call in front of the whole world.
Oh, good. Sounds good. You want me to circle back with me when you're not so busy and occupied? It's in reference to that Toyota Tundra we were talking about.
Yeah, I'll call you back after the show.
All right, take your time. Thanks,
All right,
man.
thanks.
Bye.
See, always taking calls.
It's a Toyota Tundra.
There you go. Actually, Jason said the tech support on app is really nice. So.
I mean, how often do you guys? I mean, you guys are right around the corner from us, so.
I try to call no tech support.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you, I try never to call tech support.
And you know why? Because you're an old school installer.
I hate tech support.
You
I know.
try to figure things out for yourself.
Yes.
You do understand that electronics are not always going to work directly out of the box.
The only time I tell you right now, when I call tech support, the only reason why I'm calling them is for them to tell me that I'm, one, not crazy, and two, the product doesn't work.
Right.
And that's it. So I can go, all right, I figured as much.
Yeah.
Unless I'm calling that company when we're talking about that steering wheel control you were talking about earlier, in which
Yeah.
case they're telling me I'm not pushing the button fast enough or I'm pushing it too slow. And I'm like, are you guys out of your mind?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm either doing Morse code for people on crack and speed,
Yeah.
or no, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Bye,
I mean,
Willie. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the things that another part about our industry is that newer installers and people that aren't as seasoned as we are, and there
Well,
are
it's all
guys
little
that-
black boxes.
yes, little black
I mean,
boxes, and
these things drive me nuts.
there's this magical piece of paper inside of all of these boxes called the manual.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Nobody reads that.
Like you've seen install diaries. What's
Oh, yeah.
the one thing we always talk about? I literally go, and people go, "Oh, we're installing another radio today." It's like, look, I could show people how to install a Radio Pro 50 times, and I will
Right.
still get 100 questions on it. And it's like,
Yeah,
I just did 6 in a video,
right.
you know. But that's fine because I look at those questions and I go, all right, maybe I didn't do this right, or I didn't describe it right. And so then we'll go the next one we shoot. I'll talk about those points.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it makes great content because if somebody's asking a question, clearly I didn't explain it
Yeah.
right. So I'm going to go back and
Or they're just skimming through and not really taking everything in.
Yeah,
But
well, there's
I
always
come
that.
from an install generation where
Yes.
we had to read manuals. In
Oh, yeah.
1990, dude, there was no DirectX.
well, no, dude, in 1990 there was
wa-
no internet.
Yeah, I mean, so you're literally
Dude, we had the install books.
They used to
were phone
print
books.
diagrams
Yeah.
for relays and installation news and all this stuff. So I remember like keeping that stuff when
Oh yeah.
JL had their subwoofer Bible, Excalibur had their tech book that said in your install bay, right?
Oh yeah.
Alpine, the gate book,
Oh, I love those. I was so
right?
Dude, I really kick myself. I think of how I threw all that crap away because I was like, God, I really love.
You'd be surprised what you can buy. I bought that 92 Prelude. I'm doing an old school system in it. So I mean,
Okay.
everything has to be between 92 and 96 in order to be a part of the build, right?
Okay.
So I went and bought Alpine tech manuals from 92, 93, 94, 95. I bought a 7618 cassette player. I have the 59, 59 CD changer,
Well, I'll tell you,
optical out,
I'll tell you
all
what,
that
let's
stuff.
not
So,
spoil
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Once you get it done,
Yeah.
we'll do a feature on it.
Cool.
Yeah, that would
Okay,
be
so
nice.
we'll do a feature on it because I know people love to see that.
Yeah, old school car stereo is where it's at, man. It's
Oh, yeah.
for us nostalgic guys, People
I gotta be
collect
honest
old
with you.
cars.
I like new stuff.
I like new
I'm a
stuff
new
too.
guy.
I mean, I
like-
train people and we
when
do
I have
it.
people come in and they're like, "Hey, I remember." No. You know this? No.
You don't want to put in the ATCA?
No,
Rocket?
no.
You know?
I have a 280GX screwed on the wall over
I know.
there.
It's always cool when I come in and see that.
You know, and that was my first. That was my first real amp. I went from a Sherwood 240 to a 280GX.
Sherwood 240.
Oh yeah, I had a Sherwood 240 and a Sherwood 180 because they matched. I had to have both.
First amplifier. Yeah, let's talk about first amplifier you ever bought.
It would have been a JSE amplifier, Jet Sound Electronics.
Jet Sound.
Yeah.
First
I had-
amplifier you ever bought.
Audio band.
Audio bomb.
With the flames.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember the model number, but yeah.
Yeah. First major brand amplifier I ever bought was a Pioneer GMH50. I kept walking into this shop in Auto Creations by Tim and talking to the owner, Mark. And I kept like seeing this amplifier, and saving my money. And I spent a bunch of money on this amplifier, and there was only 2 channels.
Yeah,
And
and
it was 50 by 2, you know.
The 220SX was.
Yeah, I always remember that those when you save up and you buy what you see in the magazine. It's like we don't really have good cardio magazines
What was it?
like we used to.
The CD player, the Alpine CD player, the pull-out. The
7909.
It had to be the 7909.
Yeah.
It was $1,100.
Yeah.
You know, I had to finance that. I think I was in high school. I had my mom co-sign so I could get one of those.
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you what. That CD player, that was the most rock-hard CD player. That went into like 5 different cars. I ended up selling that. Like, it went in my wife's car. It went in my buddy's car. I mean, that thing was around for 10 years.
I remember when my buddy Tommy Heitch, who worked with me at that shop, Audio Systems, he bought a Sony U8000, and that thing was well over $1,200-$1,300. I mean, that was like the best CD player that they offered back then, and it was just like, why in the world? But turn around to mid 2000s. Here I am at Cartoons of Atlanta paying $4,000 for an Alpine F1.
Oh, you bought one of those?
Oh yeah. I was an F1 nut. I went to F1 school twice and everything else. I was always into the big tech stuff. So
that's but I mean that's what you did. I mean, when we became a Clarion dealer, it was like
Clarion Pro Audio. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean everything.
Did you get an Auto PC?
A what?
Auto PC.
Which,
you don't remember Clarion
no,
Auto
yeah,
PC?
no, we had severed ties by the time the Auto PC came out. They didn't like our approach to the Alpha Touch control issue.
Oh.
So, we were like, we had issues with that, and they were like, yeah, you guys don't need to be a dealer anymore. We're like, you know what? Alpine's right there going, hey guys, hey, remember us? And we're going,
Studio 500.
Yeah. Studio 500. Okay. So, all right.
Oh, Zapco Studio 500.
Yeah.
So, real quick, hey, James is here. Hey, we were talking about you earlier about your Jag.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you. So let's talk real quick. Let's bring this back around. These amplifiers are gigantic.
Yes.
Now Stinger, because Amp decided to do something smart.
Yep.
Which was we understand that not everyone can be a Phoenix Gold dealer.
Correct.
Okay, and we don't want everyone to be a Phoenix Gold dealer.
Correct.
But we also want to have products that are that are like Phoenix Gold, but we need to put them somewhere.
Correct.
And last year or the year before, we did a video for them where we were with the cool little Marine amp, and they promptly came over and exchanged it for a Stinger version.
Correct.
So micro amplifiers, let's talk about those for a minute because they're a thing. They're a real thing.
Yep.
That's what people, at the end of the day, everyone's going small. So for Amp Global to answer the need, we have these new Stinger amplifiers.
Correct. So under the Stinger brand now, we have 2 amplifiers that are in stock and shipping now. I don't know if you guys have got them.
Yeah.
So there's a 2-channel SPX 350.2 and the 4-channel SPX 700.4. Basically,
And
2-channel,
small.
and they're very small. They're a little
small.
bit bigger than a CD case.
I'll get some in and we'll put them on the show.
Yeah, so 125 by 2 at 4-ohm stereo, 350 by 1 at 4-ohm mono. Then the 4-channel is exactly the same thing, 125 by 4. But they are very compact, plenty of power. So in the Stinger brand, it's now our Power Sports brand. Not only is it all the accessories you guys talk about all the time, all the wire, roadkill, and terminals and batteries and things like that, it's now an audio brand. So Marine speakers, Power Sports kits.
Now those 2 amplifiers are conformal coated?
They are conformal coated.
So not only can you put them in a car, you can also
use them in a boat, motorcycle, ATV,
and
Razor.
go crazy with them.
Yeah, have you seen the adapter we make for the Polaris Razor? You take the hood off. You
I was
take the
just
dash off.
reading about it last
Yeah, I
night.
have to bring you one if you hadn't seen it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we have a ton of new products under the Stinger brand. We have a dedicated marine line now that's like complete with subwoofers and everything.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
And you got new RCAs coming
new
out.
RCAs. We have new ABYC marine certified power wire as well.
Yes.
So that's the Siamese wire. So it's 2 runs of everything.
Yeah, and you're going to
it's
come
the
out
proper
with
colors and everything.
dedicated kits for
Dedicated kits for boats, dedicated kits for razors, for motorcycles.
which I'm excited about.
Yeah,
because
I mean it's going to be different because
one-
no other cardio company is doing that.
correct. No one is really, that's one of the. We don't do a lot of marine here, but we sell a lot of marine because
Right.
let's be honest, we're in Florida. We sell a
Yeah.
ton of marine.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't install it. We
We
have some
don't.
outside guys that do it for us because we just don't have the facility to
Right.
do a boat here. But the problem that we always run into, and that I stress with Paul, is like, dude, you can't just sell an amp kit.
Right.
You can't just sell an amp kit.
Yeah.
This kid needs to talk more. He's left behind. No, he's cool.
No, man, I'm just new to this.
I
I'm
mean,
just
old
enjoying
guys,
all
young
the,
guy.
all the
young
new.
guys got to take it in.
Yeah, in 15 years you'll have your own show and you'll be talking to some young buck.
And I'll be over in the corner going,
Yeah.
You guys done yet?
No. Believe me, I
so
enjoy
anyways,
everything, man.
yeah, so these micro amplifiers, this whole new product line, this is going to be big for you guys. And
Yes.
this, I'm assuming that this is a product that's going to develop.
Yeah, so this is just the first complete offering from us under the Power Sports umbrella. So like I said, Marine, V-Twin, which covers all of our motorcycle Harley
Yeah.
type scenarios, and then the
So earlier we had a question real quick about Harley. AMPRO for Harley.
AMPRO for Harley for your 14 and up Harleys that have that really nasty factory EQ curve. That is definitely in the works.
Okay.
Definitely in the works.
So there we go.
Because
So-
what's out there now is a flasher. So
Yes.
if you have a Harley, right,
Yes.
and you flash the guy's motorcycle, he goes back for an oil change or any service, they flash it back to factory.
Correct.
He needs to come back here, you guys have to flash
Which is
it, and
retarded.
then...
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay.
we're going to make it right the first time. Put our piece in, it's going to change everything and be
James,
right.
yes, this will be a podcast sometime tomorrow, probably.
Yep.
Are you going to have an interface for? Yeah, that's the Bill was asking. Are you going to have an interface for a Holly Rushmore system?
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, we
so-
will.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's probably much later in the time frame, I'm assuming. So, other new products that we should be excited about that between now and CES that have come out or being talked about. I know there's a lot of new things in the works, but things that we can talk about that we might not have mentioned just before we wrap this up. Any last things you could think of that are new and exciting?
My baby.
Exactly,
The DSP.
Yes.
and that's, yes, the DSP, because I feel bad, we really haven't done you much love on that.
That's all right.
I mean,
you know,
I know, we need to.
I'm always traveling, so we talk about it, but I haven't been around much. So yeah. So the DSP 8.8, it is a typical DSP, in for lack of a better term.
Oh, it
But
is.
it's an OEM device, so you can run 8 channels of high level input into it, and it can sum those channels back together to blend those audio inputs to make a flatter
Yeah,
curve.
yeah.
It has 6-channel RCA input, 8-channel RCA output, and it's built-in line driver, get up to 5 volts out. 31-band parametric EQ per output channel.
30 band.
30-band parametric per output channel. Crossover, adjustable, crossover topology, adjustable crossover slope from 6 to 30 dB per octave, automatic time delay calculator. But the super crazy cool feature part of the DSP 8.8 is that the DSP 8.8 is the absolute first DSP in the world to ever work on all the major platforms.
Yes.
Okay.
We work
so
on
that's the
PC,
question.
Windows PC.
Okay.
We work on Mac. We work on iOS, Android.
iPhone,
iOS and Android.
yep.
Yeah, iPhone, iPad, and Android tablets and phones as well. No other DSP has been able to do that before our DSP came out. Also, our DSP is Wi-Fi capable as well, whereas most other DSPs are either RCA input, aux input, high-level input, or there are still some cool ones out there that do Bluetooth as well.
Yes.
But ours uses Wi-Fi for communication, tuning, and also for music streaming. Because Wi-Fi, of course, we know is bigger bandwidth,
So you can
faster,
stream right to the device.
stream right to the device without the use of a head unit.
which is, like a lot of people, like,
I'm sorry, Ada have to go. He say we have to do a special episode. My number, Jeff.
All right, see you, Ada.
so, right now the DSR-1 is popular.
Mm-hmm.
Rockford and Idea are both putting their effort behind pushing that out to people and
Right.
getting people into the know as far as what it can do.
Right.
And it's funny because everything you just talked about is everything that people ask us, does it do? And it's like, no.
Right.
It's not designed. It's like, it's a basic DSP, whereas yours is a full DSP.
Exactly, and that's where people have to see the differences between price points and feature sets. Like there's a customer who only wants to be able to get in his car and do limited things, and then you got the audio tweaks. You got the competition guys. You
Don't
got the
use
guys
the word
with-
tweak. It's copyright by somebody else.
All right, you got the audio files.
There you go.
You have the audio files.
Let's call them nerds. I believe
Right.
that is what they're
audio
called now.
nerds.
Audio
Yeah.
nerds.
Right? I am an audio nerd. I have been
Exactly.
for years.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, the DSP was created because we had a need in Phoenix Gold to round out the line in order to have something where the audiophiles who chose the brand have a way of EQing their system, setting up time correction. You guys talk about time correction a lot in your show, setting that up because that allows you to set the speaker, the system up for your driving position, or if you want the passenger or
Never the passenger.
Driver position,
Passenger.
center
you
channel.
guys never
Yeah.
set up for passenger.
I don't care about the passenger.
Well, see, with our piece, we have 6 presets. So you can make one for passenger, for both seats, for
Yeah, no,
however,
the
for different types of music.
no.
So you have that option that you can set it up for.
Yeah, you can set it up for any,
Okay.
and have different presets, different EQ curves and crossover settings.
Look at Jeremy. Wi-Fi streaming. He didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things I always tell
Joking.
people, you have 6 presets, right? So you have
Yes.
your driver preset for you guys. There's a passenger
Yeah.
preset.
Yeah.
You have your rap music preset. You have your techno. You have your whatever else.
What is this rap music you mention? I am not familiar with such a.
Classic.
Yeah, you got your DJ Magic Mike
Cuts
bass
the records?
music. Yeah.
Does he cut the records?
You got that preset. And then you got that Friday I'm letting my hair down, I just got paid preset where you're just going to turn it all the way up, and just beat the hell out of your system.
I want to just say right now, my factory Boston Acoustic does all this. I have no idea. I have no need for any of this nonsense.
I probably still have one of those Camaro kits in the warehouse somewhere.
I got a brand new one sitting on
Oh
the
yeah, we have the kit.
Oh, no, we have the kit.
It's just like
You just
time.
haven't-
It's just
I actually
time.
just flashed it yesterday
Nice.
because I had Jethro come
Yeah.
in because he couldn't get it to flash. Turns out we were both idiots and didn't want to read the instructions.
Yeah.
And I was kicking myself too because when we did it the first time, I was like, let's film the video real quick. And then we didn't.
Yeah.
And then I'm over there and I was talking to Ernie and Ernie goes, hit this button. I was like, oh, damn it, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so no, I just flashed it yesterday. No, hopefully by the end of this week we'll have that rectified.
Yep.
But, okay. Ask Andy Weinmeyer about oh, Jesus, no.
Matt Schaefer, what's up,
Yeah.
Matty?
Is that your boy, Fernando?
Matt Schaefer?
Yeah. That I
The real-
watched.
The real Matty?
Yeah, the real
Yeah.
Matty. Yeah.
With the most amazing fab room ever.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I
that's
was just in
amazing,
Long
man.
Beach with Matt at the Knowledge Fest in Long Beach, and we were talking a bit. Matty does a really good class on high-res audio because
I bet.
they do a lot of really high-end systems. And
Nuh-uh.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane.
he's not putting Pyramid
Really
and Sherwood
nice,
in
nice.
cars.
No.
Really nice
Yeah, he's a
work
cool
they
dude.
do.
Yeah,
He
no.
say, okay, I come back, and now Jeff took the head
Took his
off.
hat off,
Yeah.
Things must be getting serious.
Yeah, I should have took it off in the beginning. I wasn't thinking.
No, it's okay. No, it's funny you mentioned, like, it's funny that he's there. Because, yeah, it's like, looking at his facility, we'll call it, because it's a facility, it's not a bay by any stretch of the imagination. It's like, yeah, there are some really amazing things being done in this industry that
Yeah.
are things we would just dream of
Right.
back in the day. And I mean, even what we do here, which is no comparison to the fab that they do there, because we're not.
You look at those photos, it's like you're walking into like a hospital surgical room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
and you saw
immaculate, you know?
saw what we're trying to fix over there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Scraping gum off the floor.
yeah, I'm like, dude, all we're trying to do is just move some stuff around.
But
and
dude, no joke, Ding. Ever since I met you guys and have been coming here since I've been in Florida since 2014, you guys have evolved. I remember when this little display here is showing people going from basic baffles to adding roadkill, adding fast rings. That didn't even exist. The OEM integration is showing how you guys are doing heat shrink and test tape and all that
it's
stuff.
just a matter of time and owner.
Yeah.
So I'm not the owner.
Right. And
So-
it's still, I mean, the amount of work you guys get done and still test tape, heat shrink, use ferrules, build these ABS amp mounting plates. That's commendable,
Every
dude.
car.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
every installation
Every
is
car.
done that way because you guys care.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And it has to be serviceable. And
Yes.
our industry is not a bunch of hacks. And that's the thing where people have had a bad experience.
We aren't, but we are. Okay?
We're
because not every shop is like us or like Maddie or like
No, they're
and like
not.
those. Okay,
Yeah.
they're
like
not.
the shop you came from.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Right?
no,
right.
not
I
at
walked
all.
into that store and was like,
Yeah, look, there are plenty of places
Yeah.
out there that they're there to turn a dollar.
Yes.
Okay, and let's be honest, this store is this way
Right.
because we made it that way.
Yeah.
It was not set up to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, we
And
had to
that's
turn
what
it.
gives our industry a bad name, you know.
Right.
We are skilled
Oh yeah.
technicians.
Well, like you
Right.
said
You know,
earlier,
yeah.
when someone would say you're a car stereo installer, you're going to get a
Right.
real job. It's like, listen, man, the stuff we're doing, you have no idea
No,
how
not
complicated
at all.
this
But
is.
what's funny is that it seems like, I know in my family and my friends, I'm always the guy people call when there's something that's broken electronic in the house or in their car or anything else.
Well, they used to. They know better than call me now.
Mhm.
But they used to.
Yeah, I mean, we are those
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
you know, so, I mean, it's one thing because we actually do have certifications. I know your attitude has changed on the whole certification thing from when I first met you.
No, it
the
still
whole
sucks.
the whole
Still sucks.
MECP, you know, certification for installers.
It's funny you mentioned that because we did talk about an MECP certification a couple Saturdays back, and a lot of people don't know what that is, and
Yeah.
that's deep magic mic, man. That's some deep stuff there. But the problem I have with MECP certification, and I know there's a lot of guys out there, and I know Maddie has his, and I commend them. But
Yeah,
listen,
Matt's like the poster child for MECP.
Oh, yeah.
it is, and that's great
Yeah.
because he's found time to do it. And I've sat in lots of trainings where I have to listen to the guys spend 10 minutes about how they found time to get their master certification. And it's like, that's wonderful, man. I'm glad you're that committed to it. But my business model is in a different direction, and I would love to listen. We all go to the bathroom,
Correct.
okay? And what are we doing in the bathroom? We're on our smartphones.
Correct.
I'm not taking an MECP phone book into the bathroom with me to get MECP certified, okay? I would gladly take my phone and be reading through chapters as I'm sitting in there. But for some reason, Solomon and the guys over there, or whoever it is that's running that, don't feel like that is a viable thing. Like for some reason, if I have a
Okay,
PDF
so you
version
want
of
the
it-
study book to be digital.
Yes, dude,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a
2018.
P- yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean-
that would be awesome.
If we want, we can go out in the trunk of my car. You want to know the 3 books that are in the trunk of my car?
What's that?
Basic, Advanced, and
Master.
Master. I have all 3 books in the trunk of my car right now. I have 50 pounds in a book bag that I think is a packed book bag in the trunk of my car. Right this minute, right now, we can walk out there. They're there because I had every intentions of doing it. But
It's just not practical.
it's not practical. I mean, I work, you know, like everyone else. We work
Right.
from 9 in the morning till 7 at night, and then from my life consists of from 10 till 2
Yep.
is my second job, which is this.
Right.
And you know,
Well, I get your point, but the purpose of MECP, not to
it's
just
just there again. I get it.
yeah,
and I'm
the purpose
all
of it
for
is to qualify someone's skills as a 12-volt technician, and once they can pass these tests and
Yes.
they get a certification, that is no different than someone going to college and getting a diploma, someone
And then
going
still
to
can't do the
mechanical
job.
school and getting a ASC certification and everything else. So a lot of the 12-volt installers, we wear our patches proudly.
Look at my wife. She's sitting there. You tell me to go back to school. Take your own advice.
Advice and get your MECP.
Sorry.
I mean, it's just one of those things you talk about. When you
YouTube
walk
is
into
more important.
any automotive place, you
Yeah.
see their certifications
Yes.
on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And try-
and not to say that doesn't make you a bad installer.
No.
But that just means you have
You've
the
at least-
basic competencies
yes, you understand
in
what
order
time
to
it
work,
is.
you know, within the industry.
And there again, I am for that 100%. I feel that, like, any new guy... I bought Fernando the books.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know? And I have no problem with that. And I feel that, any, you know, look, Best Buy does it all day
Yeah,
long.
Best Buy
That's-
is like diehard about it. You can't even touch a vehicle When
If
you
you don't
work
have
for
that
Best Buy, you
certification.
cannot touch a vehicle as an installer until you are basic MECP certified.
And there again, that proves the point of it's a really cool piece of paper on the wall. But that doesn't mean you know how to turn a screwdriver. I have no problem with those
learning
guys.
process.
It is a learning process.
And you evolve. I mean,
Yes.
dude, check it out. I've been in the industry for 28 years, and I've had install. Maybe it's changed. It was install in first class, and
Yes.
now I have my basic and my advanced, and I've been studying for master for a while, and I get to. I know my deficiencies.
Yeah.
If it's audio related, dude, I can smash anybody.
Yeah.
But back in the day when
Look
it was
right there,
cell phones
Brian,
and VCRs, right?
See plenty bad installers they have.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
But that's going to be with anything, though. I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, that has to do with anything. There's plenty of guys that are ASC certified that suck. There's plenty of plumbers that don't understand how to.
Yeah.
There's plenty of AC guys that.
There's
are,
plenty of doctors who have
Oh yeah. Hey, look.
PhDs
You
that
know,
are horrible.
oh,
man.
hey,
Like,
look. You know what you call a doctor that got that has C average?
what's that?
A doctor.
A doctor.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know, whether he got all A's or he got all C's, he's still a doctor. So no, and there again, I would. It's one of those things that has always bugged the crap out of me
Yep.
because I hate not having things finished, and to me, it's one of those things that I want to finish and just do to be done with, so I don't have to deal with it anymore. But it has to be in my schedule, and
Yeah.
to me, they've limited.
Yeah, a digital format would be really awesome if
Like,
you could get that.
So
done.
when
For
you talk
me,
to him next
yeah.
time,
Like
So,
for me,
hey.
I have a kid, and it's always in my arms. So
Right.
that would be nice if I have my phone right here.
right,
but there
You
again,
know, and it's like-
and there again, but then again, I commend Maddie because he has all those same problems,
Mhm.
and he figured it out and got it done.
Right.
And that's great, and he deserves the praise for it because
Oh, yeah.
it was important to him. He took the time, he got it done, and that's that. And
The
yes.
the whole big picture of it is evolution. Like we aren't screwing underdash kits and
No.
8-track players into
No.
vehicles anymore.
It's not. It's
So,
getting a lot harder. So yes,
this
we
is
do
something
need
I had a
this.
speaking part at CES many moons ago.
Yeah.
And it was about the installation bay that you wanted, and Josh, the guy that called me, he was a part of that panel too. And the thing that my good friend Brian Young helped me work on and develop this whole thing was evolve or die.
Mhm.
So as a
Oh,
car
yeah.
stereo shop and as an installer, you
Yes.
have to evolve. If not, you're going to
Correct.
die in our industry.
Yes.
So you have to learn to stop using drywall screws in every
Oh,
scenario.
exactly.
You know, some people preach soldering only. Some people preach, crimp caps and everything else. It's personal choice.
Exactly.
It's
That's-
personal
that's
choice.
awesome.
You know, just
Another
use
installer
the right
come-
tools.
yeah.
I had an
Use the
installer
right
come by
size crimp
today.
cap the right butt connector for the right size wire with the right tools.
Yeah, it'll do the job.
Yeah, it'll do the job.
Well, it's
So-
funny too
wait.
because like Jason, I had an installer come by today, and he says, "Look, I was arguing with this guy, and I figured I'm going to come ask you because you're you."
Yeah.
And he goes, he was telling me I should never solder anything. They will only use butt connectors, and I'm like, listen, there is a certain amount of nothing is truly wrong and nothing is truly right. Okay, the Jedi perspective is solid here. Everything is true from a certain point of view.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should I always solder? No. Should I always use butt
Crimp it?
connectors?
Yeah.
No. Should I use crimp caps all the time? No. The only thing we can all agree on is that you should never use a T-tap. But you're not going to agree with that because in certain situations, and that's the argument that we've all read 100 times. If you
Right.
put a T-tap on the right size wire, then it's not going to cause you issues.
Typically,
Right.
when you exactly,
Yeah.
that's
And,
normally the
and
problem.
like you said, you've been doing this 28 years. I've been doing this 28 years. If you'd have talked to me 15 years ago, I was buying bags of T-taps just like you were,
That's
and
what
the
I use all the time.
thousands,
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of T-taps went into every freaking alarm.
and you're putting the same yellow T-tap on a 22 gauge wire and
Well, no. That was I had all three colors.
oh, good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There was three
I
colors.
have this thing about chewing on like little plastic stuff, so that would be like my downfall.
I only have red,
Chewing on
so I
all
like
those different
open
things.
it a little bit. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but I mean, we never had those issues. I mean,
Right.
yeah, we had service problems, and I'm sure now there's 10 years later, and we've evolved. And
Yeah,
like
those
you
cars
said,
are
you
burned to the
evolved.
ground by
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
so.
And you evolved or died. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to buy bags. There again, I had installers that loved crimp caps.
Right.
And would just use crimp caps. It was like, hey, why don't we use these? And they're like,
So check this out. I came across this one shop because I do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
And they only use butt connectors. They don't solder anything, right?
Understandable.
And they take two wires, butt connectors, one in this end.
Oh
one in
yeah,
this
yeah,
end.
I know where you're
Yeah.
going
And
with
they
this.
only
Oh.
put two wires on one side. They twist them
Yes.
together, and they only put it in the larger side, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I asked the guy, and I'm like,
Why?
Yeah.
And what his answer was, and it works for them, They put both wires on one side. They switch them together, so you've already made your connection.
Mm-hmm.
Put the butt connector on, crimp it, and they leave the other side open. So if they ever need to test the wire for any reason, they can test it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I get it for power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have a bad speaker shutting me on the radio, now you got to go and uncut it and everything else. But yeah, but the power side of it, I got. But I was like, okay, if it works for you, it works for you. They do great installs.
Yeah.
But everyone has their own little thing.
Correct.
You know?
Yes.
So,
but unfortunately, because of the new social world that we live in, it's if you're not doing it my way, you suck.
right.
You know, if you're not doing this, you suck. And it's
I
like,
tell you something really funny real quick. Bing from Simplicity and Sound,
mhm.
right? So Bing does amazing. Him and Joey and Jesse, they do amazing installs out there in California, right? And I never forget, like, I would look at his installs and I'm going, he's only putting like half a box of roadkill in that car. What's up? Like, I do 100% coverage. I do full sheet on the outside, full sheet on the inside, full sheet on this way.
Yeah, baked potato.
And but when his install is done, it sounds exactly the way it's supposed to.
Right.
You know, everyone has their different things. You know, the way people run wires, the way they fuse,
Oh,
whether
yeah.
they use
Oh, yeah,
Tech
yeah.
Flex or just Loom and everything
Yes.
else. Everyone's way of doing things is their own way to get to that end result. You're delivering a quality product to your customer
That's
that
the key.
sounds amazing,
Yes.
that is exactly what they wanted to pay for. 9 times out of 10, it's always more
Yes.
because we go above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Mhm.
But it's all about how you carry yourself as an installer,
Correct.
your business model, and what you
Well-
can offer your customer. And then the end result is giving that customer what they pay for, that emotion.
Well, that's exactly
that,
right.
that desire that they want to become one with their car and just live all those memories all over again. You know, when they're playing all their old music or whatever, it just gives them that emotion. That's what they want.
Oh,
out
yeah.
of
You
it.
got to tune it to going back to Cali. Dude, it was a guy.
That's your jam. Going
No,
back to
that was a
Cali?
guy. It was like, this is the song. You need to tune it to going back to Cali. I was like,
Yeah.
seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there again, 100% agree with all that. Hey guys, there was a small glitch in the recording. Apparently, at some point during the show, it pinged off and then pinged back on. What Jeff was asking about was, what was the most expensive damage that had ever been done to a car? And we were talking about that. So, a little bit of hiccup there. Let's get back to it.
No Camaros, but I did one with the Crown Victoria.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know the Crown Victoria
Oh,
they
yeah.
have
and it
in
goes
the
up in the
back,
trunk.
like this, right there. And
Had an installer do, we were talking about this the other day, NSX brake line. Drilling through the firewall. And I had another one do a Chrysler, like a Sebring or something like that, master cylinder. He kept drilling. He thought it was double metal. He just kept going. And I was like, okay.
When Fernando came over, did you play install jokes on him?
No, but I did have one guy that we had in
Take the drywalls and dump them to the roof.
Oh yeah. No, I had a guy that we had a mobile guy that we did a lot of work. He's a big marine guy, and he got a classic red whatever Corvette, you know, the one that everyone wants, you know, from heavy metal flying through the sky.
Yeah.
He had one of those. It was a local radio DJ, and he's like, I need you guys to do this. So I said, no problem. Shaved the head off a drywall screw, hot glued it to the side of the car where I was attaching the crossover. He comes around the corner, got on his knees, about passed out, and I walked up and went, flick. And, and of course, that was done to me, and so I did it to him, and then I actually did that in real life, actually right through the side of a boat, because the guy tells me, he goes, put my amp right there, and I go, dude, that's the side of the boat, and he goes, no, put my amp right there, and I said, dude, that's the side of the boat, there's no way, no, it's like, it's not the side of the boat, and I said, that's the side of the boat, and he goes, put the amp there, okay, put the amp there, drywall screw sticking out the side of the boat, he goes, what the hell happened? I said, I put the amp there. He goes, well, you screwed through the side of the boat. I said, I told you I was going to screw through the side of the boat, you told me to put it there, have a nice day, buddy. You know, it's like, you want to argue with me about it? There you go.
We've all had our crazies, man. So.
Oh, Diamond Audio. Hello, Amp. Great stream, 5-star. So
that's probably Larry. Somebody. It might be Larry Frederick. I don't know who's running their
I know
Facebook page.
All right, so it's been fun.
Yes.
This is one of the longest shows we've ever done. I'm so thankful that you came on here.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
It was great fun. We'll have to have you back on.
Anytime. Let me know. As long as I'm not traveling.
I was going to say.
As long as I'm not traveling. That's why I hit you up. I was like, hey, I'm home for the next 2 weeks.
So, well, we had a guest that was supposed to be here today.
So I'm sloppy.
No, you're not sloppy seconds because he
I'm
can't
Actually,
join
that
us.
was last week.
Oh, was it last week?
That
Oh,
was last
He was
week.
supposed to be
Yeah.
last week.
I feel better now.
And
Yeah.
he canceled at last minute. He's going to come on next
I feel
week,
like
and
this
so
will
that's
slit my wrists.
yeah. So we're
second
gonna.
choice.
He, I don't. You ever met Mike Sajecki?
Heard the name a million times, but never met
he
him.
owns MAG Sales.
Yeah, Max Sales. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
So-
never met him.
So we're actually going to have Sajecki on next week to talk probably more
He
classic
can.
car audio because he's repped tons of brands. I mean, what's the other one that everyone always talks about it? US Amps. He used to be like a US Amp.
yeah, we were US dealers in.
Okay,
at
real
Sound
quick
Effects
before
in
we go,
Anderson.
do you remember what the original US Amp was supposed to do? What they made? They had two amps. They have a 2x25 and a 2x50. Do you remember what the selling point for the original US Amp was?
No.
So they designed the amps with the ability to piggyback one amp on top of the next. So the original sales point for the US Amps was that you buy 25x2 today. Next week you buy another 25x2. You literally go out of the outputs of one into the inputs of the other, and you have a 50 watt by 2 amplifier. If you want to, the next week you can buy another one and piggyback out of that amp into that amp into that amp, and you'll have a 75 by 2 amplifier. That was the original, hey guys, we're US Amps, we got this cool thing we're going to do.
How is that ever going to work?
I have no flipping idea, but we just sat there. This was like at Tampa Stadium. They had this big car show there, and the guys were there, and they're like, "This is how this stuff is going to work." And they had this ugly gold amplifier,
I remember the gold amps when
And-
they first started.
and it was like, and I'm just sitting there with my primary, and I'm like, "How is this going to work?
Yeah.
How? I mean." The 225 HCA is cool as hell, but how is this gonna work? And I was excited because I'm like, dude, we need to sell this stuff.
Yeah.
You know. But all right, guys, we're gonna let you go. This was an extremely long
Yep.
one. Thanks again, Jeff, for coming on.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
You guys have a great night as always, and we'll see you later next time.
Peace.
Bye.